When Carl Sagan spoke in front of the US Congress in 1985, he warned about global warming. Back then, there was no such thing as a climate action plan. Now, many cities and states have climate action plans, but what is a climate action plan? Today, I'll tell you about the purpose and steps of developing a plan for your community. The problem is climate change. The world is heating up too fast because the exhaust from our factories, power plants, and cars. That exhaust releases greenhouse gases, which are heating up the planet. As the Earth heats up, there's an increase in natural disasters like hurricanes, heat waves, and droughts. So what's the solution? Each community needs its own climate action plan. Think of a climate action plan as your community's customized plan for reducing greenhouse gases and also protecting essential services like electricity, water supply, and food supply. This is so important because climate scientists are telling us that we have until 2032 to level off the heating of the planet. But in reality, waiting around for our state and federal governments to intervene for our communities just isn't practical anymore because we are very short on time. However, there is hope. With a community action plan, your community can reduce its carbon footprint, which helps everybody, as well as making sure that your community has enough food, water, electricity, and is storm ready just in case a natural disaster should come your way. This whole process begins with writing your climate action plan. So a climate action plan is essentially your community's strategy for meeting the United Nations guidelines by 2032. How do you write a climate action plan? Follow these steps. Step 1. Take inventory of your community's greenhouse gas emissions. This entails identifying all the sources of greenhouse gas in your community, including factories, power plants, transportation systems, and deciding where are the places that you can practically make the most cuts in the amount of carbon you're emitting into the atmosphere. Step 2. Set reduction targets. This means that community leaders need to set goals that are both ambitious but also achievable for reducing greenhouse gases in your community. Step 3. Define the action steps of your strategy. So this may include increasing energy efficiency in your households, transitioning to renewable energy sources, promoting sustainable transportation, capturing rainwater, and reducing waste. Step 4, prioritize your action steps. We need to prioritize each step of our strategy based on feasibility, cost effectiveness, and potential impact on our greenhouse gas emissions. Set deadlines for each and every step. Step 5, spread the word about your community's climate action plan. Invest in marketing and community events, do outreach, go on television, go on news stations, go on radio shows, and even post videos of what you're doing on YouTube. This is your community outreach so that people who don't know what you're doing will be informed and will be able to understand what needs to be done for the sake of our children and our grandchildren. This is where you invest in marketing and you do outreach events to talk to all your community members, local businesses, and even other parts of the government to make sure that everybody's on the same page. The last thing that you want are stakeholders fighting against a good effort because they just don't understand what it is you're doing and why are you changing their community. Change needs to come with education. So be sure to document every step of your plan with video, photos, social media posting, and even it's a good idea to have a YouTube channel. Step 6, implement your plan and monitor the progress. As you implement your climate action plan, it is essential that you monitor what's working and what's not. It's a good idea to form work groups who are specifically going to monitor each step of your climate action plan. Have monthly meetings, have them report back to you, and even consider having a monthly newsletter that's sent out to the community so they understand why changes are being made, what changes are working, and if you do happen to have mistakes along the way, you can get ahead of it by keeping the channels of communication open. Remember that your climate action plan will have a starting point, but where it ends up will evolve over time. It really depends on what's working, What mistakes were made along the way? Where is the community resistance among your stakeholders? And also, what happened in your community during the implementation of your plan? If you were hit by a storm, that might change your priorities. If there's a sea level rise, that might also change your strategy. So be flexible, communicate, and work as a team. I highly recommend having mentorship when you're implementing your first climate action plan. There are experienced members on genunison.com if you do need a mentor. So please log on and join the movement.